Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Monday, the 22nd of June. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, great. Let's start off with yes. Now, just at the start of the week, I just want to mention what we're looking at with the stats for this week. Obviously, we had a pretty bullish leading week last week. We are neutral most of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we've got a bearish leaning day on Wednesday. So if we're going to do any damage to the downside, then this would be a week to do it. And I am looking at some potential damage to the downside. I'm thinking doing a bullish consolidation here. Hi, Doug. I was just saying that the stats for this week are basically all neutral apart from bearish on Wednesday. So if we're going to do some damage to the downside, this week would be a pretty good time to do it. And I am wondering about that because I'm thinking that one way or another, we're likely forming a bullish consolidation here. But I'm wondering if this could be A, B, C. And we could see a significant amount of downside, or alternatively, we might be forming a triangle. But I think one way or another, this looks like a bullish consolidation. So the question is, what form is that going to take? Now, the talks are, the Iran peace process is both going extremely badly and reasonably well. It's going very badly on the basis that Israel is not looking as though they're going to cooperate in the slightest, and without the Israeli cooperation, it looks as though the whole peace process will likely fail. The Iranians are unlikely to move from expecting Israel to withdraw from Lebanon, and if it's not going to do that and it's going to in fact expand it and refuse to ever leave, which was basically the vibe coming out over the weekend, then that's going to be a big problem and the peace process will ultimately fail. But in the short term, the peace process is going very well. Lots of things are being agreed. The Iranians and the US are actually negotiating, but nothing takes effect until Israel leaves Lebanon. But in the meantime, obviously the blockade is lifted. A lot of Iranian oil is getting out, even if nothing else. And arrangements are being made to lift sanctions and do various things, which would need to be done if the peace process was ever to move on from this, because the Israelis were cooperating. So we will see. We're not seeing a big impact from the markets here. It may be that we're not going to see a significant impact on it this week. Sooner or later, I suspect the peace process is going to fail, and that probably would have a large impact. We will see. But in the meantime, I'm wondering about an ABC. In terms of NQ, this hasn't retested the high yet because the head and shoulders failed on SPX and on ES and NQ. I'm expecting to see retest the high. We're not that far away here, but I am wondering if this could be an ABC as well. RTY had already retested the high, of course, and it looks as though it's about to do that again. YM has already retested the high, this with the head and shoulder failing, so we made the high retest shortly after that. DAX, still wondering about a high retest. ESDX is at new highs, and Nikkei is at new highs. And doing pretty well. So we shall see how that goes. Looking at the shorter term charts, in terms of SPX and ES, we are trying to get back over the daily middle band at the moment, and we haven't broken back over. Now this is quite important. I think if we are going to see another leg down, then we're going to fail at the daily middle band in all probability, or we will break up from it and then reject through it the next day. I was wondering if we might see a rejection back over it on Friday, and really, I mean, we closed 15 points over it, but given how high the SPX has gone, that's really only marginally above it. It's not really a clear break. We're basically going to open on it again this morning. We will see how it goes from there, but if we can have a strong day today, maybe we can see those high retests this week. Although obviously Wednesday does lean rather bearish. No current divergence on the hourly chart, no current divergence on the 15-minute chart. Kind of looks like a bull flag consolidation on the shorter term as well. It could be that we'll just see. It could be, given that we're not seeing much impact from the very strange peace negotiation that was happening over the weekend, that we could actually see that this week, which I'd quite like to see, actually. On the Qs, we had an RSI 5 daily buy signal fix. That's reached the possible near miss target, although I haven't actually marked that in, and I need to do that, so bear with me a moment. right. So really, we don't have any daily buy signal there at the moment. We've been holding the daily middle band very well. And if we're going to see both SPX and QQQ retest their highs, and the first indication will be Q's doing it because actually that's pretty close to happening already. No divergence on the hourly chart, no divergence on the 15-minute chart, and still pretty close to the highs. In terms of dia, this has been the strongest, but I've got this nice looking rising wedge here, and I think we may be topping out within the rising wedge. And this is the rising wedge from the April low. No divergence on the hourly, no divergence on the 15-minute, but you can see this is actually pretty nice. This is an overthrow. I am wondering about a decent move down this week, and of course we do have that very bearish day on leaning day on Wednesday. All right, let's have a look at the others. And IWM, we've still got daily RSI 14 sell signals fixed across the board. We're holding the daily middle band here. That didn't even get a test, and we're pretty close to retest the high, which looks like we may well see today, unless we see something to really knock the market off course. Looking at IWM on the hourly chart, no current divergence. 15-minute chart the same. DAX went below the daily middle band, but basically held it. So we closed slightly below it. It was only a marginal break and closed back above it. I'm still leaning towards seeing a high retest in coming days or weeks, and Nikkei is proceeding higher at the moment. And I'm watching this rising megaphone from the late March low and wondering if we're going to find resistance here at this trend line if we hit that again. So we shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we made it up to over by basically the 160 area. So we haven't gone below, well, we've got a nice looking double bottom here. It's got a target in the 104, 105 area, and it looks like we may be on the way there. Short term, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, and that's well supported with a buy signal on USD and a buy signal on GBP/USD, which is currently reaching the possible near miss target. We've got a little IHS here on GBP. I haven't marked it in, but this has got a target up in about the 1.335 area. No, more like 1.3335 actually. USD JPY almost made it to 1.62, and we are so close. The government's kept intervening, so I was a little skeptical about reaching that, but it really looks as though we may reach that today. USD CAD broke up from the rising megaphone, so that's cleared the way for upside there. I'm liking the dollar going up quite a bit from here, and if overall we're not actually going to see peace in the Middle East and this Iran process, peace process is going nowhere, then I would be expecting the dollar to go up. Australian dollar, got a head and shoulders broke down here. That has not failed. NZ, we've got a double bottom here, and we actually made a lower low and are on the way to that target already. So I'm thinking we might see a little bit of a pullback today on the dollar, but bigger picture, I'm leaning towards the upside. ZB, I'm wondering whether this wedge here is a bear flag. And I think it might be. If the Iran war negotiations go badly, then I would be expecting to see downside here. And while they are talking and a fair amount is being agreed, nothing is going to be implemented apart from obviously the blockade not stopping Iranian tankers going out. Nothing really is going to get implemented without the Israelis cooperating. And at the moment, they're really, really not cooperating. ZN, I'm thinking this may be a flag just setting up a retest of the low here too. If we look at the oils, we had a succession of hourly buy signals. The hourly buy signal has reached the possible near miss target on coil. It's made the target on CL. It made the target on HO, and it made the target on RBOB. So we've pretty much played all those out. We had a bit of a rally yesterday, which we've given most of it back. I would love to see a low retest here, setting up positive divergence on the daily RSI 5s. And I was thinking that was seeming less and less likely looking at the news over the weekend, but we're not far away from it. And I'm thinking we may well get that. I would love to see that. In the short term, though, it's possible we could instead be forming an IHS here on Brent. Coil is Brent, of course. Wondering the same on CL. Not really wondering that on HO. I prefer to see low retests, and the IHS patterns aren't particularly pretty. Could be breaking up for IHS on here on gas oil. So we will see. NG has gone a little higher here after the sell signal made target. I'm still in two minds here. I'm we are leaning long on a seasonal basis. But on the shorter term basis, we've got this nice rising megaphone here, which is likely a bear flag on the bigger picture, and it started breaking down. So I'm wondering about a retest of this low here, but we are seeing at least some strength here on NG. In terms of GC, I am wondering, I was talking about this on the bigger picture yesterday, I'm wondering about retests of this low, and actually one good example of why is that we had an IHS here and it broke up here and it failed immediately. And that's got a target at a retest to low. So I'm wondering about a retest to low as well on SI. We can set up some nice looking double bottoms, and we haven't got much in the way of bottoming patterns here at the moment. Palladium, I'm wondering about that too. Platinum, I'm wondering about that too. HG, just keeping an open mind. We've got a very nice looking nested double top here. I'm not really expecting to see any significant higher highs. I think this is probably just waiting until we see a larger reversal on equities. All right, looking at KC. KC, we've seen a nice looking retracement. The sell signal is now reaching the possible near miss target. I'm thinking this is just 50 back, and I'm quite liking some more upside after that. SB, still looking for a retest this low here in the 13.8 area, and we are close to that. CC is heading up higher here. I'm wondering if we're forming some kind of a triangle or a flag here. Still got an open target down here, head and shoulder target in the 3607 area. Lumber, nice looking 60-minute sell signal fix, nice looking little double top. No real action to the downside so far. And I have to say, since this sell signal fix, we've actually gone up quite a lot. On CT, broken up here, wondering about going up to this head and shoulder neckline in about the 81.7 area, and then seeing a right shoulder pullback, and then proceeding up higher. Wheat, double bottom is broken up with a target in the 635.75 to 639.75 area. Those targets were slightly different, but of course I've rolled this into September now. On corn, one possible bottoming action. On soy, possible bottoming action. On ZL, we've got a head and shoulders which is broken down with a target in the 65.5 area, and at the moment it's looking as though it may well reach that target. LE, we had a head and shoulders which broke down and immediately failed. I'm looking for a retest this high here in the 251.25 area. And HE, possible bottoming action, but this looks, in the short term, this looks like a bear flag forming, setting up a retest of this low. Right, okay, let's have a quick look at questions. Bear with me a moment. No questions? In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care. Should be an interesting week, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.